Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Toys, Noise, and Action Figures. I'm your host, Regg, Henny. And real quick, before we get started on the unboxing and review of this figure right here, the NECA quarter scale Spider-Man Homecoming figure that they just released. I just got this in the mail today. But I wouldn't have been able to get in the mail today if it wasn't for my good buddies at the Teen Center. My employees that I work with for my birthday this past week got me a gift card, and I was able to go take that to my good friends over at the Oceanside Toys R Us with my good buddy Larry and Maricel over there. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for helping to make this happen. I am a big, huge Spider-Man fan. Got the ink right here to prove it. And my friends at the Teen Center that I work with every day were able to help make that happen. And my good buddies at Oceanside Toys R Us. Go see those people. Real good people. Great customer service. I shop there, been going there since I was a kid. Anyway, just got this in the mail today. Was able to order it from Toys R Us, like I said. And it is the NECA quarter scale Spider-Man Homecoming figure. We're going to get this bad boy open, see how amazing it Did you catch that? It's the Spider-Man figure. See how amazing it really is. You get? I'll let you get a couple seconds real quick to let that soak in and laugh. Anyway, I'm back. So the NECA quarter scale Spider-Man figure. We're gonna get this bad boy open, see how amazing it really is. Toys, Noise, and Action Figures. Okay, as promised, as advertised, now delivered. I'm going to go ahead and get this bad boy open. Okay, official unboxing and review all at the same time. We're gonna knock both of them out at the same time. Okay. Some protective paper right there. Throwing boxes. Alright, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The NECA quarter scale Spider-Man Homecoming figure. Saw it at Comic-Con this year. They had it on display this past year, the 2017 San Diego Comic-Con. And I was impressed with it. I own quite a few NECA figures. I own, golly, I have the first Deadpool that they put out, the quarter scale figure. I also have the Iron Man Mark 43, I believe. I have the Superman Man of Steel figure, the Batman vs. Superman Batflick figure. Also have the Adam West, the Michael Keaton, the Arkham City, or one of the Arkham ones, and also the Christian Bale Batman figure. Anyway, I have a ton of NECA figures, so I have a little bit of experience with NECA, and some good, some bad, and I can't wait to get this out and actually see how it measures up to the rest of them. From the paint to the quality control, you got to pick your battle sometimes with NECA. Price point, I like the price points, but anyway, let's get a closer look at the box art itself. Okay, so in my opinion, NECA actually knocked it out the box, no pun intended, with this box art. They always do. Actually, NECA always does a pretty great job as far as box art is concerned. They give you some product shots on the side, different features that the figure actually comes with, like for instance the swappable head, so he could enjoy his pizza, or in the movie I think he's enjoying a donut that the lady gave him for helping her. Anyway, a couple features that it actually comes with, shows you. You can mount it on the wall. They give you a little bio right there about young Peter Parker. Anyway, they do a great job on the box art. On the top, Marvel Spider-Man Homecoming, and you get a bit of the window right there, which extends all the way down to the front. On the bottom, there's some manufacturer information if you're interested in that. Also, some instructions on how you could do the wall mounting feature. Not bad. Okay, now as far as first impressions go, awesome job. Awesome job, NECA. The mold on this is very impressive, very likened to the suit in the movie, in the Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming movie. Again, I'm impressed. NECA always does a great job as far as paint application, as far as sculpt is concerned. In my opinion, they always do a great job. They also do a great job as far as accessories are concerned. The accessories that this comes with, it comes with a extra head right there, with a pretty good likeness as far as from the tip of the nose down. Not bad. Also comes with a number of hands, which most collectors toy enthusiasts, if you're a Spider-Man fan, whether you're picking up Hot Toys, Spider-Man figures, or whether you're picking up Marvel Legends, we always like to see extra hands. So this comes with plenty of hands, great paint applications on the hands, great sculpt. If you need a round of applause, you're going to get that with this many hands that it comes with. And it also comes with 2 extra webs for, obviously, it's Spider-Man, and you want to make sure that you've got enough webbing, and they give you enough. And that's real impressive, too. Let's get to the articulation first and foremost. Now, as far as articulation is concerned, again, I always give it up to NECA for their paint applications, for their sculpting. They do a great job at the price point. The articulation is where it gets a little scary. Again, I own maybe about 12, this might be my 13th NECA quarter scale figure. They're not super expensive compared to Hot Toys, but they're also not cheap. They tend to run on average about $100. For that price, you want to make sure that if you're talking about an actual articulated figure, that it can articulate. That if you're bragging about points of articulation or whatever, that you're not in fear of any limbs snapping off or anything like that. And I've actually had that happen with one of the only figures out of the 13 that I own, one of the only figures that I've actually ever really tried to pose. A leg snapped smooth off, and that was on the Michael Keaton 1989 Batman. And I'll get into that in a separate review. Customer service. Ooh, mega customer service. But anyway, let's see how the articulation on this works. First, let's start off with the leg articulation. Now, hard leg articulation right there. Yeah. One thing about the NECA figures is they punish you for trying to pose the figures. That right there took a good amount of strength right there just to move the leg that much forward. Clearly, as you saw on the other pictures that they posted on the box of the product shots, it's in some dynamic poses as Spider-Man should be, but NECA makes it a very scary experience to actually want to pose the figures that you purchase from them. Not just in the quarter scale line, but even in the 7-inch figures. The only figure from NECA that I've ever been okay with not being in fear of trying to pose it was the Gizmo Gremlin. I believe it's maybe a 10-inch figure or something like that. Anyway, it's not a figure. It's actually just a plush toy. That's the only one I've ever been okay with not being fearful that something may happen. So I will attempt to bend that leg forward. Ooh. Again, very scary. Just doing the leg articulation, just doing it at the knee. And this is a double joint on the knee. And I don't even want to bend that. Like, that's a very scary experience just on the right leg. And as you've seen, we haven't really gotten that far into the review yet as far as articulation is concerned. The toe articulation right there, no problem. Very, very comfortable. Ankle articulation, no problem at all. Does not offer a pivot on the ankle at all. Again, this is not one of those figures I plan on really doing too many dynamic poses with. Again, it's Spider-Man, and you should have no problem with wanting to do that. Yeah, that's hard. That's very tough. That ratchet joint at the hip on both of these legs is scary. I mean, great if you're going for a pose and you're concerned that it's going to fall out of the pose because the joint isn't tight enough, but that's almost too tight. I mean, the tightness on that joint alone equates to like a mutant ability. Like if your mutant ability was tight joints, he would definitely be an X-Men, I guess. But yeah, that's. Needless to say, I don't plan on doing too much posing with this. Already, I can tell you that right now. And again, like as I said earlier, you got to pick your battles with NECA. Not a bad price point for the paint and the sculpt and the scale, but if you're hoping for something that's super dynamic to pose and you're not going to have any problem with posing, you might want to go pay a little bit more and go see your friends at Hot Toys. I haven't even gotten into the shoulder. See, the shoulder one's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Again, it's not a hard, ratchety joint. The elbow, not bad. Wrist, not bad at all either. Like I said, I'm okay with the shoulder and the elbow and the wrist. Yeah, so far so good. This right shoulder, not bad. Yeah, these aren't too bad right here. I could give them that. They're still tight, but they're not like the leg joints at all. And if it's a QC issue, you may have to be concerned about maybe some of the other ones that shipped. If they're all consistent, then okay, but again, kind of scary. Scotty, bend at the waist. This section right there, ab crunch, not bad. Not super posable as you would expect with a Spider-Man figure, but hey, it's our good buddies in NECA. So again, you got to pick your battles as far as that's concerned. Gray head sculpt. Look up, look down, and the head pops right off if you look too far down. So grade that how you will. Pops back on, but again, you've got to be careful. Yeah, I'm definitely going to make sure and get the review done for that Michael Keaton 1989, so you see exactly what I'm talking about. Why go back to NECA? Again, you got to pick and choose your battles. If you like paint apps, if you like the sculpt, if you like the scale, they display really well. When the Michael Keaton leg, this left leg, literally, I was trying to do the same thing you saw me do with Spider-Man just now. I did it just like that, and it broke like somebody was breaking a wishbone, trying to make a wish come true. And I lost out on that one. Let's put it that way. Leg breaks clean off. I get in touch with NECA on that Michael Keaton and tell them what happened, send them pictures. And their first suggestion was for me to find a pose that I like and hot glue the leg back on. Because that's exactly what you want to do when you spend over $100 on a figure, is to hot glue it back on. But then you might ask, why go back to NECA? Why buy so many NECA figures? Again, you got to pick and choose your battles. I'm not one of those collectors that really cares about articulation on a figure this size. That figure's going to get displayed. But then I'm also torn because I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to charge me that much and punish me with bad articulation, ratchety articulation that may break, just make a statue. There's plenty of market space for that. Just make a statue. So, anyway, so not bad as far as the paint app, the sculpt. Some of the other articulation points aren't too bad, but again, these legs are absolutely scary, and you can take that with a grain of salt and do what you may. But again, picking and choosing your battles, NECA, picking and choosing your battles. Okay, now here's one really cool feature about the head sculpt on here. They actually make it where you could switch out the eyes. You have to be careful though. Again, everything with NECA figures is very tight, and you don't want to end up snapping something off and then having to go through the headache of trying to get it replaced, because a lot of brick and mortar stores do not actually have a large inventory of the especially these large scale NECA figures. I imagine they take up a lot of shelf space. So it's a bit of a headache to even try to get any of the figures switched out. But so just so you can get an idea of how it works, you see how the eye is missing right there, that's because I actually switched it out and put this eye on here, which I'm going to be doing with both. So let me show you how that works real quick. So it's got the little holes right there. They correspond with the back side of the eye. And you just pop it in. Let's see. Okay, so it's not actually, NECA doesn't make anything too easy as far as joints and things are concerned. You have to be careful when trying to pop in the eye on that, just because the way the pegs actually line up in the eye socket, it's a bit complicated. Anyway, so I'm going to attempt to try to get this right eye and switch it out with this one right now. So basically, your mission, if you choose to accept it, take out the eye right there. And again, you've got to get those back pegs to actually line up. And they're kind of at a slant. I don't know if you can see that. They're at a slant, so they don't go straight in. So you've got to slide the eye into the socket. It's a little odd. We're going to pop this eye out. Again, it's in there pretty tight. So now that we got that removed, take this eye and we're going to replace it. So you got the eye holes right there. And easier than it's harder than it sounds to do that. But this one actually went in a little bit easier on this one. There you have it. Okay, going to add the more squinted eye look to the completely masked head right there. Push it in pretty secure. And there you have it. Not bad. Now, the NECA quarter scale Spider-Man Homecoming figure actually includes 4 additional sets of hands. And it comes with the fisted hands actually already attached as shown. I've already shown you. Again, great sculpt, great paint, great sculpt on these NECA figures. You can see that right there. Nice webbing on the hands. The web shooter right there. Very impressive. There's the web shooting here. Pew, 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 or whatever the sound is that he makes when he shoots a web. But again, impressive hands. So again, the NECA figures make great display pieces. Not so much as far as posability. Again, the super ratchet, mutant ratchet limbs on the NECA figures make it a little tough, but we've already covered that. But again, great accessories along with the 2 webs that it comes with. Now, real quick, I wanted to give you a close-up of that head sculpt again. And also, again, like I said, the impressive paint application and sculpt on it. Very nice. The hands right there and a really good paint app. I like the web shooters they give them. All right. So feet sculpt right there. Those are some nice Nikes right there, Air Spideys. Again, no problem as far as the paint is concerned with NECA. No problem as far as the paint and the sculpt. The Spider-Man Homecoming spider emblem on his chest. The spider drone. I'll be doing a review on that one too. I actually have the drone itself, so it's pretty cool. And there you have it. And now for a little size on the NECA quarter scale Spider-Man figure. Let's go from toe to the tip of his head. He's about 17 and a half, just shy of 18 inches tall. And now for a little scale size comparison, we got the quarter scale NECA Spider-Man Homecoming figure standing right next to the Marvel Legends tech suit Spider-Man from the Spider-Man Homecoming wave that they put out. One of my favorite Spider-Man figures, and I mean, as far as the paint apps and as far as the articulation, the sculpt on it, that Marvel Legends 6-inch figure is one of my favorite Spider-Man figures that they produced so far in any line. Pretty good size comparison right there. And now we got old Spidey standing right next to his mentor from the Spider-Man Homecoming movie. This is the Iron Man NECA quarter scale figure. I believe it's the Mark 43. I can't remember. There's like a million Iron Man suits. But this is the one that I chose to pick up from NECA. I really like it a lot. I don't pose him much. I don't need those kind of problems. I just have him displayed on my desk. But anyway, good comparison right there. Old Tony Stark standing next to his good buddy Peter Parker. And now it's time for one of my favorite segments.
Old school, new school, need to learn though. Old school, new school, need to learn though. Old school, new school, need to learn though. I burn, baby.
That's right, old school, new school. One of the first Spider-Man, actually the first Spider-Man action figure I ever received way back in 1990. Anyway, so the Mego Spider-Man, got that for Christmas years ago when I was knee-high to a beehive or something. Anyway, I was a little kid back then. And my parents, my mother and father actually did me a solid, gave me one of the greatest Christmas presents I ever received to this day. And the old school, new school, standing right next to the new school quarter scale NECA Spider-Man Homecoming figure. Nice comparison right there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with the final thoughts on the NECA quarter scale Spider-Man Homecoming action figure. As always on Toys, Noise, and Action Figures, we have our rating scale that goes from whack, which means it's going to be a shelf warmer, it's going to be a peg warmer. Leave that bad boy right there. You won't miss it. You'll thank yourself for passing on it. Then there's cool. Cool, you can do it. You can buy yourself one. Or you can wait for it to go on sale. You can play the long game and wait for it to go on sale. Wait for the price drop. Then there's dope. Pick it up. Why not? Knock yourself out. Live a little. You work hard. Then there's classic. And classic is pre-order 1, pre-order 2. Keep one in the box. Mint and seal box. Then there's, you can put the other one on the shelf. You can play with it. You can display it. Your kids will thank you. Your grandkids will thank you. Probably going to go up in value. All kinds of goodies are going to come with that classic joint right there. And as far as the NECA quarter scale Spider-Man Homecoming figure goes, I'm going to go with it's cool. Cool. And there's a lot of factors that go into whether or not it's going to be a classic, whether it's going to be dope, whether it's going to be cool, whether it's going to be whack. One of the main points is price point. If your price point is a little higher, and as usual, the NECA quarter scale figures go, they're usually about $100 or so, depending on the online or brick and mortar retailer that you go to. Usually about $100 or so. And if you get it at that price point, I mean, if you're selling something at that price point, the consumer wants something that's going to be a sure bet. It's hard-earned money that they're spending, and they want to make sure that it's not going to break, it's not going to snap or anything like that. And if you do your homework with a lot of the NECA figures, not just in the quarter scale line, but even in the 7-inch figures and smaller, you'll see that there's a lot of QC issues when it comes to posing and limbs breaking off and things like that. Not always. I have quite a few of the figures myself. I own about 13 of the figures, counting Spider-Man right here. And I don't tend to pose them that much, so it's not an issue to me. But for somebody that does want to get into dynamic poses and they want to do different dioramas with the different figures and everything like that, Gotta be careful. Buyer beware. There's also all the goodies that go with NECA figures. You get the, again, wonderful paint apps. You get great sculpting. I mean, you can't complain about those two categories right there. But you've got to have all of them if you're going to be at a certain price point. So with that being said, it's cool. NECA doesn't tend to seem like they stock a lot, like a lot of the retailers don't seem like they stock a lot of them, particularly in brick and mortar stores, which is another issue too. If you do have any kind of breakage or any kind of QC issue, it'd be nice if you picked it up in a brick and mortar store that you could go right back to that store and actually find the same figure and just swap it out, and hopefully that's just an isolated incident. But what ends up happening a lot of times with the brick and mortar stores is they don't tend to carry a lot of stock on the bigger NECA figures, NECA figures in general. I think the only brick and mortar store, like main store, that I see a lot of NECA figures in is Toys R Us. You're starting to see a few of them in Walmarts every now and then. They're starting to get a little bit more distribution, but again, they don't stock enough, especially of the larger figures, to justify if you have a QC issue. And if you just want to go back in, again with my Michael Keaton figure, I just wanted the Michael Keaton figure back. I didn't care about money back or anything like that, or even swapping it out for another figure. But trying to get in touch with customer service was a headache and a half. You have to do an entire investigation. I felt like I was on an episode of CSI. And then once I did get in touch with somebody, they didn't have any in stock, and I couldn't find any retailers that did have it in stock. And I was kind of scared when I opened this bad boy today, because again, that was a Batman figure. Love Batman, don't get me wrong. But Spider-Man's my guy. I love Spider-Man. I've been spoon-fed, and from the bottle, I've been a Spider-Man fan. And so I would, God forbid anything happen to this figure, and I have to go the route of trying to resend it back through the Toys R Us retailer to get another one. Anyway, long story short, we're going to stick to that story right there. It's a cool figure. It's going to stand right next to the Iron Man figure on my desk. It's not going to get posed a lot or anything like that. Not running the risk. Hopefully nothing ever happens with it. But with that being said, cool figure. Do I suggest that you go out and get one? I'll leave that up to you. Not a bad figure, but if you're a huge Spider-Man fan and you love the movie, it's worth getting. But if you're a casual Spider-Man fan and you can wait for Hot Toys or anybody else, you could actually pick up one of those figures, then by all means, go ahead and do that. Anyway, with that being said, I'm your host, Regg Henny. This has been Toys, Noise, and Action Figures. As always, be good to yourself, be kind, and show empathy to other people. And open your toys, play with them, have fun. Peace.